Hi there, Kalimera. Good morning. This is Mytilene, the capital and largest town on the island of Lesvos, which is the third largest Greek island after Crete and Evia. And Lesvos here is the 8th largest island in the Mediterranean. So a very different scene here from many other Greek island towns that I have shown that are much smaller, less traffic. You can see out there buildings all across those hills. So a good-sized town here. I just spent 2 nights at a hostel right here, and then this morning rented a car from down there near the port where I came in from Turkey 2 days ago and where I will leave from in 3 days, going to another Greek island. But I have 3 full days, actually like 3.5 days, to explore this island of Lesvos, which looks really, really nice. So I'm really looking forward to it. I reserved a hotel room, for the next 3 nights so that I can stay in one spot and not have to pack up and check out every morning while I'm exploring around the island. It is in Molivos, which looks very nice, about an hour's drive away, but I will definitely be making various stops along the way. So my rental car is parked a few minutes walk this way. I had stopped to have my breakfast, ate my yogurt, and then pulled out my cheese and realized the crackers were missing. I had left them back in the hostel, so I headed back here to grab the crackers in the backpack and start the video, including walk through this neighborhood here. So yesterday when I filmed that other video in like the back streets of Lesvos, it wasn't a very nice area. This area is much nicer and more interesting. So that was just like residential zone. This is the more touristy area with the restaurants, etc. And it is very, very interesting and quite artistically done here. So lots of great eating options, you know, in the shade down these different alleys. Lots of artwork. Frida Kahlo. Looks like 1920s American jazz musicians, something like that. Also looking very kind of 1920s. And so I thought that I would talk a little bit about how I rented the car in terms of, you know, researching the different potential car rental companies and coming to a conclusion on getting one of them. Also much more interesting architecture back in here. So I'm always a little bit hesitant about booking online for cars because of potential hidden fees. I really want to know what the final price is. For example, once in Hawaii, I rented a car on Expedia and then got there, and he said that the insurance that I had bought wasn't a good choice for some reason, and he convinced me to buy his insurance, which was a lot more expensive, but if anything happened, it would be easier to deal with, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I don't like those variables. I have booked online with Sixt rental car company because their website is very clear. as far as the exact charges, oh wow, it smells so good. That bakery right there smells like, I don't know, cinnamon muffins or something. So I'm not opposed to renting cars online, but I kind of prefer to just speak directly with the places and get the exact final amount. So this morning, first thing, I actually looked online on Expedia to try to get a general idea of what the cheapest car rental company might be. There were tons and tons of car rental companies right around here, just within a few minutes walk. Here we have an old style church. Let's see if it might be open. Today is Monday, September 2nd. Looks like it might be closed. Sort of under construction. Okay, let's keep on cruising. Hopefully we can get through. No, okay. Gotta go around. So, I looked online first thing this morning just to see if I could get a general idea, well, which car companies tend to have lower prices. But nothing showed up for Lesvos here. So I'm not sure if it was because it was last minute, trying to look on Expedia the same day, or if they just don't work with, this Greek island at all, or what. Anyways, so nothing was showing up. So then I just go to Google Maps and plug in car rental and then see what comes up and just start calling them directly. So the first place that I called quoted 80 euros per day. So for 3 days it was going to be 240 euros, which is pretty expensive, especially for Greece. And then there's the issue of my ferry is at 3 p.m. on Thursday, and so I want to keep the car until like 2, and so that might have been an extra day. And so I called another car company, and they didn't have anything until like 6 p.m. Called another one, they didn't have anything until tomorrow morning. Called another one, and they said 45 euros per day, so almost half the price. They had one available right away, and they said, yes, I did need to reserve it for one more day to keep it until the afternoon at 45 euros, then that is, easier to do. And so the total price then for 4 days was 180 euros. And so it was less to get this car, here we are, for 4 days than the other place for 3 days. So basically, once I find somewhere that has a price that I'm happy with, I will just stop calling, because there were more places that I could have called, but I was happy with the price. Probably not going to find much cheaper than this. So 45 euros, that's $50 per day, including everything. So here it is, Suzuki Alto. Now, let's get out of here and go check out the castle and the ancient amphitheater. And there is the castle. Let's get up into it. And some random old ruins. We got a sign here. Archaeological site of Nicomedes. In antiquity, the area would have been located at a key point nearby the junction of Euripus with the North Commercial Harbor. Euripus was the natural strait dividing the ancient city of Mytilene into two parts. The earliest traces of ancient habitation in the city are identified at the island, as demonstrated by the extensive building remains of the Archaic period, 7th to 6th century BC. The fortification wall was constructed in the late classical period, 4th century BC. In its final form, AD 2nd to 3rd century. It was organized around a colonnaded atrium with 6 Ionic columns standing on high bases. The building, interpreted as a public house, inn, or tavern, was destroyed at the end of the 4th century AD. Okay, so an old tavern. Very, very old tavern. Greek and Roman era. It's quite an amazing castle. Up there, Arabic writing. Must be Ottoman era. Middle gateway. The middle gateway, Orta Kapı, was constructed by Vice Admiral Bakir Pasha, so Ottoman, Turk, in 1644 during the governorship of Ibrahim Khan. Extensive repairs were made to the walls. A wide, deep moat was also created. Okay, what is this symbol? I don't recognize it as being a Greek symbol. I'm assuming that this is a sarcophagus. Okay. Gattelusi sarcophagus. The monolithic sarcophagus dates from the Roman period. In the time of the Gattelusi, work began on its decoration with the imbricated Genovese emblem. Okay. And the 4 B's of the Byzantines. Oh. Interesting, but the stone cracked in the course of its carving. The combination of the 2 emblems on the sarcophagus declares explicitly the relationships of intermarriage between the Gattelusi and the Byzantines. Indeed, it has been suggested that the sarcophagus was used as a funerary monument of Francesco I Gattelusio and Maria Palau Logina. Its position next to the medieval church, in combination with the other 20 burials uncovered there in the course of excavations conducted by Canadian Institute at Athens, attests to the use of the church as a funerary chapel of the Gattelusi. So there you go. The B is for Byzantine. That is wild. I have never seen that before. It's a slightly different B, but pretty much the same. You know, it's like square instead of rounded, and then it indents in there all the way to there. Fascinating. And so that was the next sentence, basically, here in their explanation. The site was inhabited from antiquity, with the first Byzantine phase of the fortress estimated to date to the time of Justinian, 6th century AD. Its current form is the work of the Gattelusi rulers, which we just heard about, 1355 to 1462, and above all the Ottomans, who occupied Lesvos from 1462 to 1912. A long time. So they managed to stay in power here long after the Greek Revolution in the early 19th century, when Greece gained independence from the Ottomans. Crypts. The crypts are an underground complex of many rooms. All right. That must be down here, yeah. How deep does it go? Whoa. Wild. Oh man. It's quite huge. Amazing. I didn't know anything about this, so it's all a surprise. Wild. Wow, more tunnels. Let's see where this one goes to. Okay, just ends here. And then, what is that? Toilet, I would guess. Although, crypt means burial place, so I guess that wouldn't be a toilet unless it was used for multiple functions, like... Does a crypt mean more of like a dungeon, maybe? Because this really seems like it could be, you know, a dungeon room. So we have an answer here. In the description, I had skipped over it because it didn't mention any dates, but right there, crypts lighting and airing is achieved through holes formed vertically or diagonally on the roof. Their different direction ensures maximum exploitation of sunlight. You wouldn't care about sunlight if it was just a, you know, cemetery. On the west side, there are lavatories, so there you go, and a water cistern with stone wellhead. So I'm not certain then if that was a lavatory that we saw or a cistern, but it looked like that, and that says stone wellhead of the water cistern, but there also were lavatories. So I was going to check online to confirm what exactly is a crypt, but no cell connection at the moment, so I will write it down below here, the definition of a crypt. All right, let's go see a bit more of the castle and then get to the ancient amphitheater. So unfortunately, the ancient theater seems to be closed. It said that it was open on Google Maps, so that is really a shame. But we have this path going along the gate. I guess it must be down there. Maybe we can at least get a view of it from up on the hill over there. This is actually a very important ancient Greek theater, so I will explain more in a minute. So you can see it there quite well. I'm not quite clear on whether the seats went back up above that hill. I guess that must be the case because it isn't that far down in the bottom of the little valley there, and so I guess the seats went back up around, and so it's hard to tell exactly how big it was, but apparently it was quite big. So here is some information. In the heart of Lesvos stands a testament to the rich cultural heritage of ancient Greece, one of the greatest works of architecture of the ancient world, the ancient theater of Mytilene. Nestled within the charming city of Mytilene, standing on the hill of Aia Kyriaki, this majestic amphitheater transports visitors back in time to an era when the arts flourished and storytelling took center stage. From its awe-inspiring architecture to its profound historical significance, the ancient theater of Mytilene is a true marvel that continues to captivate the imagination of both locals and travelers from around the world. The origins of the ancient theater of Mytilene can be traced back to the Hellenistic period, dating back to the 3rd century BC. It was during this time that the Grand Theater was constructed, showcasing the architectural brilliance and engineering prowess of the ancient Greeks. The ancient theater of Mytilene is one of the most important ancient theaters in the world, possibly the most important. Why would I make such a bold statement? In 62 BC, the Roman Emperor Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus visited Mytilene after the Third Mithridatic War. Pompey was impressed with the theater and had sketches and plans of it made so that he could build a theater based on this design in Rome. So 62 BC, that is before Julius Caesar. On his return to Rome, Pompey, so that's the guy's name, the emperor, paid for a new theater to gain political popularity. The new theater was designed to impress due to both its splendor and its size. Work began in 61 BC and the theater was dedicated in 55 BC. The theater of Pompeii is considered the original Roman stone theater. Subsequent theaters built within the Republic and Empire copied its form as a template with little changes except size. The theater is estimated to have been the largest theater ever built in ancient or modern times. So I guess they're saying the theater of Pompeii was the largest theater. So the next time you visit a Roman theater, remember that its origins lie on the island of Lesvos. So basically, all Roman theaters in ancient Rome were copies of Pompeii, which was a copy of the theater of Lesvos. So that is some pretty important history there. All right, let's get out of here. Get out of Mytilene, leave the big city behind, go see more of Lesvos, and definitely find somewhere to jump in the water. Now, fortunately, where I'm staying, the guest house is apparently right on a very nice beach. So if I don't find something between here and there, then I've got a nice swimming spot waiting for me by the sounds of it. And look at that, absolutely spectacular, an ancient Roman aqueduct dated to the 2nd or 3rd centuries AD. So 1800 to 1900 years old, and in the process of being renovated and reinforced, it looks like. Just mind-blowing. The Romans were incredible. Looks like we might have some more information here. The monumental water bridge of the Roman aqueduct of Mytilene in Moria on Lesvos Island. The water bridge is 170 meters long, and its maximum preserved height is 24.46 meters, so about 80 feet. It consists of 17 arched openings and 3 tiers of arches. Only 12 of the original 16 piers are preserved. The water bridge of Moria, an engineering work of monumental character, is a particular architectural structure, as its creator, unfortunately not named in ancient literary sources, designed and implemented the bridge as a single static load carrier with its piers connected by arches. The extensive use of marble extracted from the nearby quarry, located at the northeastern area of Cacolangadi, contributed to the water bridge's monumentality. Based on its construction and architectural features, the water bridge is dated to the second half of the 2nd century AD, so around 150 AD. So there you can see Agiasos. That is the village in the interior that I'm going to next, and then also Palinyktos, and then Mytilene, the capital, and Koloni. So I was driving along and passed an old style church. Not sure if it is actually all that old or built in the old style, but thought I would see if I can look inside. And you can feel moisture in the air and see little dark spots. Looks like it rained here, and it feels like it rained here recently. But I haven't seen any rain yet myself. Okay, there's a car there. Is somebody inside? Too bad. It's locked. But I can see very nice frescoes. So this is the village of Agiasos, which I guess is considered to be the artistic and religious capital of the island. Kalispera. Very quiet, especially for still being summertime, sort of. September 2nd. Maybe because we are now into September and the tourist crowds are leaving. Very nice arts and crafts. Lots of cats. Very lovely village. So what is this? It said museum. I think this must be a church here. Feels like a monastery. I guess that's Greek, but it's a very unusual style of writing. Hostel, it says there. Map of Agiasos city. Let's see if we can figure out where we are based on the map and what exactly it is. Okay, where? Now you are here. There we go. So yeah, it is a church. See there it says museum, hotel. Too bad no video filming inside, but I'm gonna take a look. Olympos. That is the mountain that we are on the side of here, not to be confused with Mount Olympus on the mainland of Greece, the Agora marketplace. Let's go find the Agora. I guess that might have been the Agora. The main restaurant eating spot, it seemed. And I think that we're getting a couple of raindrops coming down. Could be getting ready to rain. And I still have an hour's drive to get to where I'm staying tonight, so I will try to be fairly quick about seeing a bit more of Agiasos here, but let's poke a little bit further up the hill. I guess this should be called more of a town than a village because it's fairly large, but oh so quiet. Let's try to get up to a viewpoint. Maybe we can see the sea. Little chapel here. So the church was really spectacular inside. Totally different style from the other one that we saw on the way coming here with all the frescoes inside. This one was very ornately decorated with all sorts of like chandeliers and things hanging down into the middle of the church. And here we have frescoes. All right. So here we have another map of the city, town, village, whatever you want to call it. And so where are we now? Okay, now we are here. Before we were here, walked all the way up here, and there is a road right up there. All right, so I guess that might be Mount Olympus. Hiking this direction. Definitely not going for a big hike today. Feeling kind of sleepy and lazy. But meow. I bet up here we'll get a nice view. So you have the edge of the town there. And that definitely does seem to be the tallest mountain in the area. Now, can we see the sea? Not yet. Just mountain ranges out there. More mountain ranges out there. This is a hilly island. So you can see there's a lot more to the town. What a location. feels like you're deep in the mountains, but you're actually just a short drive from the sea. Nothing too interesting here, it seems. Okay, well, I think that is going to do it for Agiasos. I want to get this hour's drive done so that I can get checked into my room there and really finally relax. Great that I won't have to pack up for 3 more days. And we'll see what we see along the way.